Hello, this is my chapter 1 of When I Were a Lad. Now the introduction music at the beginning there was, I used to watch that every night, or on a Friday night. I used to race home, 7 o'clock I think it started, and it was called Out of Town, and it was a half-hour programme, and the gentleman involved in it was Jack Hargreaves, who I followed religiously. Brilliant man. This is more or less based on his life, the way he done his life. This video I'm doing is somewhere near the sort of life I led. I'm doing it all ad lib. I've got nothing wrote down, so as it comes. So this is chapter 1, as I were when I were a lad, and this started all many moons ago, and I was a little lad. I've got old pictures, but I can't print them off. Anyway, if I go down that road, let's get on with it. When I were a lad, I was born down in a little house, terraced house in Canterbury, called St Radicans Street, and leading on to Duck Lane, which was the back entrance to a secondary school, and we used to play down there, 2 up 2 down, and we didn't have much, like, you know, I mean, a cardboard box was I think the best thing we ever had, so we used to play around with that. My father was in the army. He's in the Argylls, and when he came out of there after the war, he stayed in the army and then joined up to the TA, Territorial Army, where he was a mechanic and used to work on all the tanks and the lorries, jeeps, all that sort of stuff. And my mum was a cook at a private house, a bit like Upstairs Downstairs, if you remember that programme, or the other one that's done a series which was brilliant. Anyway, so we I don't know how long we lived there for, but we was there a few years, and I think what happened is my father managed to get a council house. So he was building housing estates there, all council. And we managed to get one of these up in an estate called Spring Lane Estate in Canterbury, which was the other side of Canterbury to where we was living at the time. So that was a 3-bedroom house, end terrace, and that's where we mostly grew up, like, you know, and I used to mess around with there. It was a big garden we had, and I managed to get a few friends there. One of them was Christopher, Roland and Stephen. There was another chap, Keith. He lived on a different estate, but he moved away, like, and I can always remember that day. I went to see him off and broke my heart when he went, but there you go. So we didn't have much then, like, you know, we was always messing about, trying to make ends meet, so to speak, and then a lot of the time we'd be out at the weekends, and me middle-aged sister, she was just a year older than me, she was a right tomboy. Everywhere I went she went, like, you know. And we used to go up the woods, we used to go scrumping, and we had what we call a Mounts Farm just to the edge of our estate at the top end, and we used to go up there and scrump a few apples, and there's a plum orchard as well. We'd have a few plums, like we'd find a little hole in the fence somewhere to get in. And you couldn't afford to buy that sort of stuff then, like, you know, and times were hard, like, you know, and, you know, all this business, you know, you used to eat a bit of stale old bread. You never used to moan about it, but today, it's only got to be a day old. Oh, I ain't eating that, that's dry. You know, well, all I can say is they don't know what it's like to be hungry. They really don't. And anyway, my dad used to breed rabbits. Those New Zealand whites, I think they were. He used to breed them, and he'd sell them off to make a bit of extra money. And my mum, she'd be working out in the fields and picking the fruit and everything in the summertime. It was all seasonal then, but now it's all year round. And yeah, we used to, what's the other place? Yeah, we used to go up in the orchards there on this farm, and I'd be up there crack of dawn, and I'd be walking up and down these lanes of apple trees, picking mushrooms, and we used to get some nice big ones, nice and dark brown on the underside, and oh, they were lovely. I remember one day we decided on our many walks when we used to go out for the all weekend, we'd be out, and I was walking up this lane, Beachball Lane I think it was called, and there's a little farm up there we turned off to called Rickard's farm, and he had a little duck pond there and what have you, and he had a little small holding area there where the fence went right up to the road, and he had, I think it was 3 or 4 turkeys in there. Well, one day we're walking past there, weren't we, and as you do, this turkey has decided he's going to make a nest, and he's made it right by the fence. Well, the fencing that he had there was pig wire, which was quite big squares. A turkey ain't going to get through that, is it? So anyway, but my hand did. And I see this turkey, I thought, I've got to have one of them. So I took it home, and oh, it's a monster it was. And I went, Mum, I said, can you cook me an egg for tea? She said, we ain't got any. I went, oh, I just got one. She said, oh my God, she said, you never eat all that. I did, it filled me up and it was lovely. But God, was I stuffed afterwards, like, you know. Didn't have no room for bread and butter. Well, we didn't have butter then, it was just bread. And anyway, we'd sit round the table religiously, Sunday tea time, and that was it. We'd all sit round and have our Sunday tea, and a lot of the time Dad was always working, bless him, and I think the nearest thing we got to sweetness, we had a bit of margarine on a slice of bread, and Mum used to put the old sugar bowl on the table, and you dip your bread in there so that the sugar stuck to the marge, and that was the nearest we got to jam. But then as the time went on, we managed to get a pot of jam, and my Mum always used to give us that malt extract, a tablespoon of that every Sunday. That was our weekly treat, like, and it was thick stuff, but it was lovely. And yeah, we used to do that on Sunday night. We could stay out at 7 o'clock, that's the deadline Sunday, got to be in, bath and bed, ready for school in the morning. And yeah, we used to enjoy that. And they used to play at the end of the street there's a place, a little wooded area and what have you. Used to call that the Logs. And it's only because it was a big tree trunk, about 15 foot long, been cut there and laid there. We used to sit on it and play on it and everything. And further over there's a big ditch, dry ditch it was, and that had trees in there as well. and someone had put a big rope up there. It was like an anchor rope to a big ship, huge thing it was, about 2 inches across. Anyway, someone had tied that up in the tree. We used to use that as a swing. That's a good bit of fun. And so we used to go over there, and you go a little bit further on, and there was a farmer right out the back. And he used to have, he had cows as well. What do you call them? Dairy cows. Them all brown ones they were. And he had 2 or 3 fields. One field he'd be putting cauliflower in, or cabbage. The other one's potatoes, and the other one cauliflower or sprouts. That was it, something like that. Well, as I say, times were hard then. And I'd go out there about evening time, about this time. What is it? Yeah, about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the evening. And I'd go over there with a carrier bag and a fork, and I'd dig up a couple of potato plants, put the potatoes in there, you know, just trudle along to the next field, and I'd chop a cabbage off, or pick some sprouts, whatever was it, you know, sprouts used to be near winter time. He'd have, I don't know, he'd have parsnips in there or something like that. But I only used to take enough to feed us, because there was 4 of us kids in the family, plus my mum and dad. So, yeah, that's why they both had to work. And then sometimes it was nice in the summer, around September. Mum would take us out on Sunday. She'd take us up to the golf course. We'd walk up there, and we'd walk around with all these tubs, or pudding bowl, and we'd walk all around there picking up blackberries and what have you. And one day we was up there, like, and I tried to jump across this dyke. It weren't very wide. It's only about 2 or 3 foot. Well, of course, I wasn't big enough to jump across it, was I? Who fell in? All that black smelly stuff it was. Oh, it did stink. Of course, that put pay to that day. I had to go home and get bathed. That was an early Sunday bath, that was. But at least I got to get in the bath first instead of the third, because your mum used to bath us in order. My eldest Joan, then my middle-aged sister, then myself, and then my youngest sister. So my youngest sister used to get all the dirty water. Couldn't afford to do a bath each. That bath water had to do, you know, all of us. And yeah, so, oh yeah, we used to do that. Then what else was it? I used to go over the golf course there, which was close, because a lot of blackberries over there. And I used to go over there. We used to call it scratching. And you do a bit of scratching over there for golf balls, and then you go back to the golf hut. And there's the green master there. I always remember his name, Mr. Mitchell. Oh, he was a hard. Oh, a lot of people didn't like him. But you used to sell your golf balls to him, and you'd be lucky. You might have half a dozen. You might be lucky if you got half a crown. But that's a way of getting the old pocket money. And then just across the road from there, there's these 2 big chestnut trees, and we'd get there with the lumps of sticks and what have you, me and a couple of mates, and be lobbing these sticks up in the air, knocking these chestnuts off. And we had our little go-karts there, a little 4-wheeler apple box converted to a little go-kart, and we put a box on the back, and we used to put all the chestnuts in there. Then we'd go round the estate selling them, and keep some back for Christmas, like, put them a metal lid on the old coal fire, open coal fire it was, wait for the coal to burn down, so it's just coals, not flames. Just prick the chestnuts with a fork, both sides, put them on the tray, then put the tray on there. Oh, how lovely they were. Lovely chestnuts. Used to pick them year in, year out. And yeah, that was great fun. And then what was the other thing we went from there? Yeah, as I say, we used to walk miles all around bird nesting, going around looking in the hedgerows, looking for birds' nests, and because I used to collect the eggs as a lad, not allowed to do it now, and we'd only take, if we come across a blackbird's nest and it only got a couple of eggs in it, we'd leave them, because we knew that they'd either lay 4 or maybe 5. So we'd wait till they got up, because we'd be up there regularly, until they got up around about 4 eggs and think, right, okay, and we'd take one then, and then we'd blow it. And my dad made me a nice box with sawdust in the bottom and a glass lid, and I used to just recess them in the sawdust and put the name of the bird on it. And yeah, I don't know what happened to that. As I say, as you get older, suddenly they just disappear, and you think, well, whatever did happen to that? So, of course, you couldn't have bikes then, so I didn't have a bike, couldn't afford a bike. So, but what we done is we found an old frame. Excuse me, tickly throat. Because you'd always get someone that obviously was better off than you, and you've come across this bike frame, and you think, oh, I'll have that. So you take that home, and you do all bits and pieces, and eventually you come across the sprocket and the wheels and this, that, and the other, and you could eventually, and I eventually made a bike, so that made it great fun. So you're riding around like, so you was one of the lucky ones if you got a bike. Well, as I say, we were less fortunate. Like, there's a few families there that had obviously got, a nice decent job and was earning wages well. But we tend to keep ourselves to ourselves then, because there was that little bit of snobbery coming into it, like, oh, don't hang around with him, like, look, he's got holes in his trousers or whatever, like, we didn't bother how we looked like, as long as it covered our private parts. And so that was it. We used to go up through all our way around the woods there doing that. Could make a camp up in the woods, then we'd go up there. And then what was the other thing we do? Just bear with me and I'll get back onto it. Oh yeah, we was walking Sunday night again. It was. We was walking along the railway line. We had the old steam trains then. Oh, it used to be great. And we used to up at the old farm, at the top of the estate. Mounts Farm it was. SW Mounts. You got a railway bridge goes across there towards his packing sheds, and the old steam train used to come from Canterbury East, and it used to go right the way through to a little village called Beaksbourne, then Addisham, and then further on down, eventually down to Dover. Well, we used to gel over this bridge wall, slide down a bank, and we walk along the track, and we walk all the way to Beaksbourne. Oh yeah, we had all the time in the world, like, to be young again, like, you didn't have to worry about your money, your bills or anything, like, you just enjoyed life. Everyone more or less was equal, like, we had nothing, everyone had nothing, but we was all happy. And anyway, there's my mate Peter, my sister Kay and myself, and we was walking along this railway, just walk out there. And if a train was coming, we used to just dart up the bank out of sight. Anyway, a lot of people used to call us the railway children. Anyway, and they made a film about that as well, didn't they? So anyway, we was walking back one Sunday night, and we never realised how late it was. Sunday night, 7 o'clock, you got to be in. School in the morning. So that's what we done. Was walking back, just got near this bridge, was about to climb up there, and suddenly heard this voice, what are you doing down there? We looked up at this bridge, my mum, wasn't it? Oh my God, we're in for it now, Kay. You know you shouldn't be down there. Oh, well, yeah, but we, get up here now. Anyway, so we got up there, got on the top, and she's pushing her bike all the way. We're walking up through there. Go on, get on. She goes, I know what your father's going to say. He ain't going to be best pleased, like, And we thought, oh my God, regimental, wasn't he? sergeant major, and I thought, oh, I'm going to get a strap here, mate. Anyway, so we kept begging and pleading, Mum, please don't tell Dad, please don't tell Dad, like, you know, we won't go there again. I promise we won't go down there again. Like, and it kept on and on and on. In the end, oh well, all right then, but you better not go down there again. Like, thank God for that. That was a close one, you know. As soon as I got in the door, guess where they were? Down on the railway line. I thought, oh, here we go. I shot up them stairs because I knew I was going to get the strap. And I got the buckle end, I did. It wasn't just the leather end, I got the buckle end. That bloody hurt. But I don't begrudge any of it because, funny enough, it kept me on the straight and narrow. I could have gone the other way, couldn't I? But that was good fun in them days. Like, you know, half the time you do these things in hope that you didn't get caught and stuff like that. Right, well, I'm going to end it there because now I'm going to have to think about chapter 2 as to where I went from there. So at that time I was about, I don't know, 12, 13 then. So I've gone from a little lad up to this estate, and we virtually, as I say, we grew up on that estate right the way through till we all up and left the coop. So I'll catch you on chapter 2. Cheerio.